People living near the site of a toxic train derailment in Ohio are clear to go home. But even after being told they can safely return, many in the community are still choosing to stay away. Here's the scene, dramatic pictures of the derailment when it happened nearly 2 weeks ago near East Palestine in Ohio. 20 of the train's rail cars were listed as carrying hazardous materials. The urgent threat were the 5 cars leaking vinyl chloride, explosive, known carcinogen, but that was really just one of several major concerns. Let's bring in Heather Gillis because she's looking at things, what exactly was in those rail cars, what is happening now, and what people in the community are saying.
Well, Heather, residents in the community, they're feeling unease, they're feeling distrust, they feel like they don't have a lot of information. There will be a town hall for residents of East Palestine, Ohio tonight to allay some of those fears that they're feeling. The village of about 5,000 people has been in a state of emergency since 50 train cars derailed. That was back on February 3rd on a Norfolk Southern Railroad train. Now, residents are worried about the chemicals that were spilled and later burned off and how they will affect their health. Officials are concerned about chemicals including vinyl chloride. Now, that is a volatile, colorless gas. It has links to some cancers, and it can turn into hydrogen chloride when burned. And about 1 million pounds was released into the air. The Ohio Governor, Mike DeWine, says they did a controlled release of the chemicals, which were in danger of exploding. They burned them off, which discharged toxic and potentially deadly fumes into the air last week. Now, residents were evacuated but could go back to their homes about a week ago. The Environmental Protection Agency has been monitoring air quality and says it hasn't detected levels that are concerning to health. Residents, though, worrying about the long-term impact on their homes. Environmental activist, a famous one at that, Erin Brockovich, you might remember her from the movie with Julia Roberts, says that residents haven't been getting all of the information that they need.
This is a situation where the people don't trust at all. And I would have never advised the community who'd been evacuated to come back home until you had an all clear. They were told to come back home too soon. They now don't believe that it's safe to live there. Many won't come home. And now a big disaster. This has been mishandled. It's out of control in the state. And I really believe at a federal level, this administration has to get involved.
She is calling for Congress to act. So is Ohio's governor. Now, the mayor of the town, Trent Conaway, says the town hall that will be held tonight will give residents an opportunity to ask questions and get some answers. And that starts at 7 p.m. local time.
Heather, the concerns obviously around these toxic chemicals, these pollutants and contaminants. What is the status of the safety for the air and the drinking water in East Palestine? What are the latest readings and testings? What are officials saying about that?
Officials are telling people it is safe to return home, but residents are still worried, still distrustful. Some, when they go home, they're reporting burning eyes, feeling nauseated, headaches, and a pungent plasticky odor hanging in the air. The EPA says that smell can linger, but with chemicals at lower levels than are considered hazardous to health. The agency was testing indoor air quality and said it didn't detect anything. However, there is a letter from the EPA from Friday that says chemicals continue to be released into the soil and into the air and into the waters, with some reporting thousands of dead fish. However, officials do say the drinking water does remain safe, and the state governor says they weren't notified about these rail cars passing through their state. They're also calling for Congress to act on that. Meanwhile, residents still very worried.
There's been I think just an ever-changing mix of emotions and feelings just right from the outset, just the amount of unknown that was there. And then as things became more known, it was not better. They were finding more gases and chemicals. And then a couple of days later, the gases inside of these tankers were heating up. And that's whenever they decided to do a controlled burn. They evacuated the area. They put child endangerment charges out as a threat if you were in the area with your children. It was alarming.
Some people still staying away from their homes near this derailment site where you can see heavy equipment crews working there. They're still fearful. It is worthy to note that no one was injured in this train derailment. Investigators say it was caused by a broken rail car axle. Heather?
As the governor was saying, surprised, 12,000 trains a day carrying hazardous materials, 1.5 million tons of toxic chemicals through American communities. Reportedly, it's really shining a light on that situation. Heather, thank you very much.